Steve Shields here with Battle Report number 4. Today we've got 2K of Chaos versus Chaos. I'm going to go over my forces, then Ben will go over his. So I've got 4 units of Cultists, just as meat shields, 10 man, no upgrades. Got 4 units of Havocs here. 2 squads have 4 autocannons, 1 has 4 las cannons, 1 has 4 missile launchers. Got 2 oblets, Mark and Nurgle, they're each running separately to try to not get annihilated right away. And then we've got 3 sorcerers, level 3. Warlord is guy with sword. They all went heavily on the demon summoning table, and between them I have all the summoning options. We've got 5 noise marines here with Blastmaster, no other upgrades. Helldrake and Hellblade are in reserves. And Fortress of Redemption. It's got the Crackstorm rockets, and each section has a void shield. So hopefully it doesn't just die immediately to his super heavy. So alright, let's see what Ben's got.
I'm playing Chaos Space Marines. So as my Warlord, I have a Chaos Lord in Terminator armor with the Axe of Blind Fury. He's got Marker Khorne. He's accompanied by a level 3 Sorcerer that was rolling in Telepathy. He has 3 Mutilators with him, with Marker Khorne, and they're all in a Land Raider together. Then I have a Lord of Skulls. He has both of the upgrades. A Autocannon Havoc squad. And they're with an Aegis, and then I have 2 10-man squads of cultists.
After deployment, big surprise, I'm holed up in my fortress. The 2 autocannon squads are garrisoned inside the circular sections of the building. We've got the rocket squad on top there, the noise marine squad in the middle, hanging out with an oblit. Over there is the las cannon squad, obviously with the giant las cannon. There's another oblit on top of the building.
And we've got the cultist over here. Sorry the camera keeps focusing in and out. The sunlight is extremely bright here. So over on Ben's side, he's got his Aegis line with a cultist hanging out behind there, Havoc's man and his Icarus, and obviously the star of the show, Lord of Skulls, yelling, "Come at me, bro." Back here, he's rocking some cultists, sitting on an objective, and then Senor Lander is holding his Death Star number 2. So we're doing Maelstrom of War, Tactical Escalation, which means you get a card equal to the turn number, basically.
We'll see how it goes. Ben, please try to steal the bacon. You son of a bitch!
So here we are at the end of Ben's turn 1. As you can see, not too much damage was done to the fortress here. We found out there's an FAQ saying that if the building has a void shield on it, blast template only gets 1 hit per building section, basically. So his flamethrower here took out 3 of the missile launchers because he took out the void shield with his autocannons. However, the flamethrower failed to pop the other void shields, so he threw his skull hurler at it, popped the void shield for the walkway and the tower, so I've only got 1 void shield left. That's it for Ben's turn. Let's see if I can hurt his big boy on my turn.
Here at the end of my turn 1, my massive fortress fire amounted in a single hull point to the Lord of Skulls, and 2 hull points to the Land Raider. The Blastmaster, however, did blow a nice chunk over here, killed off 4 cultists and 2 of his marines, as well as dealing a hull point to Mr. Las Cannon. He unfortunately made all of his leadership checks, so they're still hanging out. Over here, I fired the Fortress of Redemption's missiles at it and completely whiffed. It just flew off the board. So, we'll see what Ben does, closing in on my fortress.
So here we are at the end of Ben's 2, and as you can see, he did a lot more damage to me this turn. He took out all but 1 las cannon Havoc, hurt the noise marines, and he severely hurt the missile Havocs as well. He failed to charge against that section of the building by an inch, so thank God for that. I'll live to fight another day here. The Plague Bearers got Thunder Blitz reduced to half. Thankfully, he didn't quite touch the Herald there, so he's still kicking. Land Raider tank shock through his squad, sent some cultists packing, but had to stop in front of the other squad. His heavy weapons there took out a void shield. Of course, he regened the single hull point that I did to him. So now I've got to try to take down a full-strength Lord of Skulls with no las cannons. So here we are at the end of my turn 2, and as you can see, I didn't really do all that much, unfortunately. For Mr. Flyer here, he has Supersonic, which used to do something for Flyers. It doesn't anymore. So Ben said that he should have Vector Dancer to represent him being fast and agile and all that good stuff. So he gets 2 pivots. If any of you know of updated rules, please let me know. I just couldn't find any. So he did a whole point to the Lord of Skulls, and then the entire fortress fired at the Lord of Skulls also. Big surprise, he's up close and personal right now. Anything that wasn't an autocannon just completely missed. And that's not saying, oh, maybe it hit and failed its armor pen. They all missed. So that's very unfortunate. Autocannons did do a whole point, bring him down to 6, and Sorcerer turned into a Greater Demon. He rolled on the summoning tables, so hopefully he can just keep spawning more crazy stuff around me. So the building itself actually did hit and took out 7 cultists, but they passed their check, so they're still hanging out. Blastmaster fired at Ben's Havocs there, killed 2, sent him running, and will actually score first blood, believe it or not. This late in the game is kind of surprising, but, you know, whatever. Tactical objectives. So I got 1 out of D3 for securing objectives. Cultists have 1, Las Cannon have 1, and Rocket Guys have 1. And then I got 1 more point for the Las Cannon guy holding objective 6. So that's going to put the score at 3-0, but in typical Khorne fashion, Ben said, what's so good about points? Blood for the Blood God, and is just running at me. Continuing body block shenanigans here with the cultists, so hopefully that'll pay off versus the Land Raider. Okay, so Ben's turn 3 here. He charged the building, blew it up, obviously. You may be wondering where the Greater Demon is. So Ben Thunderblitzed me, rolled a 1, so I had to make a leadership check. I failed. He ran away, but at least where he ran wound up being inside a bunch of Cursed Earths for a 2-up rerollable invul, but I rolled 2 1s in a row. So his Flamethrower instant death him to death. I rolled Ben's dice here for the Marines from the damage inside, so I only lost 1, so I'll take that. Ben's Mutilator said, enough with this body blocking shenanigans. They jumped out, killed some cultists, and they're on a rampage. So let's see what I can do. So here we are at the end of my turn 3, and as you can see, the Plague Bears got into Assault. You may be asking yourself, why is he starting with Assault this turn? And that is because my shooting was abysmal. So the entire building there, except for the garrisoned autocannons, fired at the Lord of Skulls and did nothing. The garrison autocannons and all the cultists there fired at his mutilators and also did nothing. Granted, they only caused 7 wounds, so it's not surprising Ben might all his saves, but now that side of the board is in trouble. So the plane there actually did 2 whole points to Lord of Skulls, so he's the only one who did anything in shooting, so good for him. On to actual points, I did get 3 this turn. I almost got D3 for having 3 squads within 12 inches of his board edge. Unfortunately, the Herald there is literally an inch short. So the other 2 points, I got 1 from the objective the cultists hold there, and then the other one I got from this. The Lord of Skulls is 3 1/4 inches out, so he did not contest. So that puts it at 6-1, and we'll see if Ben can come back on his turn.
We are at the end of Ben's turn 4. As you can see, he destroyed the walkway portion of my building. The Oblit was fine from the fall, and Blastmaster Squad unfortunately lost 2. He failed to pop the Void Shield over there, so my lone Las Cannon is alive. He fired his Skull Hurler over there at all the cultists, and as you can see, out of 20 that were, there's only 4 left. Over here, I actually won the combat with his cultists. The Massacre move put me in contact with the gun, so I'm going to turn it on him. He didn't get any points this turn. 2 of his cards are secure objective 6, which is still contested. You see how these guys are in close combat here? So they destroyed a lot of stuff, but they didn't fully destroy the building. They dropped the building's armor to 12, and they did 4d6 hits to the squad inside, killing off all 6 Havocs. There are 2 sorcerers left huddling in fear in the building, and the 1 guy on top. Unfortunately, since you can't move a building, he's going to get to swing at me on the end of my turn as well. So, let's see what I can do to prevent this slaughter. The only thing I have for hope is that I'm still ahead by a lot in points. At the end of my turn 4 and the end of the game. Shop's closing, and it's pretty much a forlorn conclusion at this point anyway. Although my castle fell, summoning the demons did actually win me this game based on tactical objectives. That's kind of what I was hoping for, although honestly I'd hoped to do a little bit more to the Lord of Skulls. I shot everything at him, and I even charged the Oblits in there. Granted, they didn't even get to swing, but hey, it was worth a shot. I brought him down to 4 whole points, so not quite enough to get 2 victory points. I got 1 victory point because I declared a challenge in this crazy assault here. I charged in the rest of my cultists and the Axe Sorcerer just because obviously all the cultists didn't quite make it. They actually did no wounds because Ben made all of his armor saves. However, Axe Sorcerer hit his Sorcerer and actually killed him. So, bravo Zulu for him. Saved the building by charging in there. Not that it really mattered. But the final score wound up being 10-2. So, although Ben actually almost tabled me, just tactical objectives saved the day for me. So that just goes to show you how crazy Maelstrom can be. You got to focus on objectives and not just murdering. As I said, the shop's closing, so we are both going to be doing a unit recap when we get back to my house. So don't mind the change of scenery. See you then. So I'm back here with my recap. I've got my newly primed Realm of Battle. I will be actually making a video about painting it, so check that one out too. So you probably noticed that most of the video preceding this was dubbed over using my microphone. Something about that Games Workshop causes those audio tears. We tried it everywhere in the shop, back, front, what have you, and they kept coming up. So he's building a pretty sweet table, so I'm going to give it one more shot there, bringing along a microphone, other than the one I tried to use yesterday. Hopefully that works. If not, I guess I will have to start filming elsewhere. But, so anyway, on to my recap here. For HQs, we got my sorcerers. Their demon summoning really did save the day. I was able to get some demons past his Death Stars and rush up and get some more points on his side of the table. Blastmaster Noise Marines, as always, they were phenomenal. They knocked the Havoc squad off the board, and they actually did a whole point to Mr. Lord of Skulls, so can't complain about them. Autocannon Havocs, normally great, however my dice rolls were so terrible this game they really did nothing. Las Cannons knocked off 2 whole points of the Land Raider, and then I forgot, oh, Ben has an AP3 flamethrower, and they got nuked off the table. Rocket guys, they really did terrible. Again, it was just my horrible dice rolls this whole game. So, check out Mr. Crabclaw there, though. He's pretty cool if I do say so myself. Oblets, they lived right up until I charged them into the Lord of Skulls, but they also rolled terribly. Surprise star of the game is Mr. Hellblade here. I really underestimated those 2 Twin-Linked Reapers. But really, if he's got something to target, it's phenomenal. He did the most damage to the Lord of Skulls because he was able to get in the rear. Granted, we did house rule his old supersonic rules, so we've got to see if there's an update to what his rules actually are now. But even without that, it still just would have been one delayed turn, and then he could have wreaked havoc. And my Fortress. Obviously, it did pretty good. However, as I mentioned, forgetting that Ben has an AP3 flamethrower really hurt me, even though I told him to take that upgrade. So, granted, I wanted to bring a Fortress versus his Siege Engines of Death, but perhaps I should have brought a couple Bastions instead of just the one big thing, because he just laid the Flame Template literally across the top of the Fortress and just ate everything. The Void Shields are the only reason that I had models left at the end of the game, to be honest, because of that FAQ that I mentioned earlier. So Ben's going to go ahead and pull out some of his guys and go over him.
Talk about how I think some of my units did. The Lord of Skulls was definitely the star of the game. He took out an insane amount of Steve's units. I could have probably positioned a little better, but he did great. He made every single one of his it will not die rolls too, so that helped. The Death Star with the Lord and the Mutilators did pretty well. They came out a little late and the game ended early, so they didn't do a ton, but they did wreck one squad of cultists and almost destroy a section of the Fortress of Redemption.
Do remember I charged in the other 2 squads of cultists that you wrecked too, so...
Yeah, that's true. So 3 squads of cultists, plus maybe my only victory point, besides Linebreaker. The Havocs did okay. The Icarus missed all of its Skyfire shots, so that wasn't great, but thankfully only one of Steve's flares came in the whole game. And the cultists, did cultist things and just held objectives and died.
So obviously you were really up on killiness, but you somehow lost horribly on points. How do you think you would do that better next time?
Probably, I think positioning and setting up the battle is probably where most of that came from. I only had held 1 objective, and I could have easily held 2 if I planned a little better. And also kind of, I think targeting the Lord of Skulls at the summoned demons that were coming in to take the objectives could have helped a little bit more than taking out sections of Redemption that ultimately didn't give me any points whatsoever.
Well, you did knock me off 1 objective with the Redemption, but yeah, the demons probably should have been priority.
Yeah.
Do you think you'd change anything with his list or run double Death Star again?
Double Death Star was really fun. I mean, more troops probably would help, but I had a lot of fun charging the Lord of Skulls and the Land Raider both at the same time.
Let's be honest, isn't that, the whole point of the game is to have fun here?
And it's corn.
Yeah, I mean, you did kind of go corn. You're like, screw objectives, I'm going for blood. So
Murder.
that works. So, alright, that was my game with Ben there. We are actually going to be doing a series of games here based on fortification sieges. Since he obviously wrecked my building, I don't even have to come up with some crazy reason for why he got through the first stage. So, he's going to be going ahead, and next time he comes to town, I'm going to have some more fortifications painted up. He's going to bring a larger force, siege that, and should he get through that, then he's got to get to my final fortress. So, we'll see how that goes. So don't forget to subscribe and go ahead and give me a like on Facebook. Tell me if you like this report and what you want to see next. Thanks.